been a little over a month since an airline passenger named Michelle Reyes was flying over Manhattan and shooting the skyline with her cell phone, which is what we all do. But something zipped past her window at an extremely high rate of speed. And no matter how many times she watched that video or how many people she shared it with, no one could say what that something was. We know it is cylinder-shaped and vaguely resembles a Tic Tac. And it isn't too dissimilar from another sighting that came to light 4 years ago in 2020. That was when the Pentagon declassified a slew of UFO videos. That sighting stood out mostly because of the kind of people who saw it. Back in 2004, 20 years ago, multiple anomalous aerial vehicles, or UAPs, were detected on radar about 100 miles southwest San Diego. And a pair of Navy pilots, fighter pilots, described what they saw to 60 Minutes. And soon after they saw what they saw, another flight crew in another jet was able to lock on to what was believed to be the same Tic Tac object, whatever it was. And they captured the now famous infrared video. And before that Tic Tac sped off again, that's what they saw. And then in yet another video that was declassified and released by the Navy, a similar object is captured on radar in 2015, 11 years later. And this time you can hear the pilots in disbelief at what they're seeing. Listen to the cockpit comms.
Dude, there's a wrong, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. The whole thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like a thing, it's rotating.
Look at that thing, it's rotating. Just 2 weeks after this sighting, a second sighting happened. And then flash forward to last month. How does the object that Michelle Reyes saw from her airplane window stack up to the videos and the intelligence the Pentagon already knew about? For that, I turned to retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich. Lieutenant Commander Dietrich was a pilot training with the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group when she was sent to investigate that Tic Tac UFO in 2004. And then the commander saw it for herself. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been dying to talk to you about this. I wanted to get your whole take on what Michelle Reyes saw out the airplane window.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for covering this topic with a serious tone. I know that when we talk about UFOs, a lot of people can snicker or, play the spooky music, and there's a stigma around it. But really, here we are 20 years after we had our encounter off the west coast of California and the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group in the middle of military training operations. And we are similarly shrugging our shoulders and saying, what is this? And where did it come from? What sort of technology is this? And is it a friend or foe? So, it's very hard to tell from Ms. Reyes's video what it might be. The problem with cell phone cameras is the resolution just isn't that good. And it's such a short clip, it's hard to analyze. So, something that I've been speaking to or trying to advocate for is that we invest in the hardware and the sensors to capture better footage and then bring to bear all the technology that we have available in order to analyze it and make sense of it.
I'm with you. The only thing is that from me, and I'm nowhere near as skilled as you are, it seems like it's so much better resolution than the radar showed. Like all of a sudden I can see that thing and it's shiny. But I wanted to ask you about 20 years ago, how you were treated when you and your fellow naval pilot in the cockpit reported what you saw. And do you think is any different now? Are we getting better and more serious, again, with our tone and attitude to trying to get to some answers?
Right. Well, there were actually 4 people at the time. There were 2 aircraft, and each aircraft had a pilot and a weapons systems officer. So we had 4 folks with eyes on, and then we had the separate aircraft and crew, so 6 folks, and they were the ones who got the FLIR footage, and that's the forward-looking infrared, and that's why it's so grainy and not very good quality, because you're actually looking at a thermal image there. It's not a camera in the traditional sense. So as far as our reception in 2004, again, we were in a military training exercise off the coast of California relatively soon after the events of 9/11. And so folks were concerned. We were concerned that we couldn't identify it, that we couldn't say whether it was a friend or foe, if it was an adversary, whether it was somebody spying on us with surveillance. And so that was concerning at the time, and we didn't hesitate to report. Of course, we received some good-natured ribbing in the aftermath, jokes of little green men and all that. But, in the years since, 2 decades now, we have made slow but steady progress towards trying to come up with a systematic way to report these incidents. When you see something, say something, and then to take them seriously and to investigate them. And again, the technology has improved over that time as well.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.